Hi, everybody. This is Phyllis Y. Whitley. If you have been spiritually victimized and traumatized, welcome to Spiritology Live, where I bring my #1 Amazon bestseller book to life. Yes, and each episode is a spiritual, metaphysical, holistic space of consciousness for self-healing as you learn how to break your religious shackles so you can master and manifest your promised land within today. Hey, let's go. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to go and do this last episode, part 2. If you have not heard me or listened to any of my podcasts before, please go back. I had done some great podcasts, and I had mentioned them in my previous podcast where we was at. Actually, we discussed being stuck. We discussed the seasons. We discussed the hallway of life. And you can go back and choose your topic. Go start from #1, where I did literally started based on my book called Religious Shackles, How to Release Them. Actually, previously, we just did something about manifesting. It's very, very good that you know that how to manifest and then understand why you're stuck. Manifestation is not just putting up a vision board and saying future affirmation and writing all your goals. It literally requires you to have knowledge and specialized seasons where you at in life. That's why I had the hallway of life. You need to study the people around you. You need to go, even if you have, per se, a different religion, you need to study that manuscript. I myself, study the Bible manuscript. You need to know that you know that you know that you know. Okay? So what we're going to do, I'm so excited for this one. This is part 2. We're going to continue because that was heavy. A lot of my stuff is so heavy, I have to bring it over because I don't want to give you an hour. Maybe I should give you an hour. But I feel if you keep it raw, you can keep it quick. With that being said, we literally talked about, my topic might change, but I have it where it says I can't manifest. And it's like, are you in the correct or wrong season? So don't hold me to that title. It'll be something like that. But we found out from my last podcast, 57, we found out some things about the different seasons. And I had the season, my philosophy, Miss P philosophy is people come into your life for season, reason, and a lifetime. To recap, the season can just be people expire. Sometimes it can just be a relationship that was puppy love and that you grew out of it. It can be a season where you was getting your associate degree and you have to go to the next phase, or you don't have to go to the next phase. It can be a season of you specializing in doing hair. And then you can go into the next season of specializing in cutting. So you can have a specialization and you don't have to be college material. There's a lot of millionaires that are entrepreneur spirit, have an entrepreneur spirit. We talked about reason. Reason can be, it's a reason that this person came in your life to show you something. A lot of people say, why am I manifesting the wrong type of people? I had something one time in one of my podcasts about relationships on how people are literally meeting the same junk and mess. But when you are in a mess and you don't come out of that hallway, you bring in your past into the hallway of life. We talked about that, where you right in between. You literally bring that into your future. And because you carrying all this baggage, which you let go, which is forgive, you forgiving them, you giving them back their SHIT, for those who don't want to hear the word. You literally are making sure you are ready to start that next relationship. I'm a firm believer that everybody need a coach. I do always go back to the late Kobe Bryant. I was not a great fan of his, a big fan of his, because I'm more into football. But I like smart people, and he really was smart. So unfortunately, I didn't really get to know much about him until he passed, and he had several coaches. I'm pretty sure some of the greatest people out there in sports had many coaches, and I feel like you should have a mentor, a counselor. If you want to spend it on psychiatrists, go ahead. But coaches for everything. You have sometimes you have a coach just for a season, a financial coach. Sometimes you have a personal coach to teach you, how to get in health, get in great shape. With that being said, we discussed that to give you an idea what the seasons are. The world seasons is usually 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and then fall. When you know what season you are spiritually, this is what I touch on. It can help you know what season you are. It's the season that you are going to gather all of your seeds and you're going to sow it just like a farmer. And God give us a demonstration. Like, look at the ant, look at the squirrels around you. And I don't know if I said that right, but they gather all of the acorns. When wintertime is coming, you see some animals just go dig, the snake just go farther, farther in the ground. What happened is they are preparing. You must know the season because you're preparing. If it's wintertime, you're preparing. So winter, everything looks still. You don't see money movement. You don't see a lot happening in your life. And it's for that time when you just go ahead and stock up, stock up. Even in your home, you should probably be stocking up in the fall. Just like people, Christmas. I learned a long time ago. I remember a lady said she literally shop. Those who shop, if you don't shop because of your religion that believe in Christmas, that's fine. But I look at the holidays, and a lot of people prepare for so-called Christmas or whatever in August. And I never understood that, but then I was like, let me follow that, because a lot of stuff is go on sale. A lot of stuff for the same price. So some of y'all say I don't want sale, but I love a sale when I know that was once a high price and it came down. Nothing moved. The material didn't change, and you can get the best things in August. And then when the fall come for Christmas or Thanksgiving, you literally got everything. Even if you have a deep freezer, if you into meat, you can go ahead and get that stuff then, yes. Or you can get your decoration. It's so much you can do in that summer and then going into fall, because when you get to the winter or you get to Christmas, you like, oh my God, I have no money to buy nobody nothing. Oh, if I do, I have to go dip into my funds. This is why so many people are literally depressed after Christmas, because they went into debt. So they was in the wrong season to save. It's a save. We talked about Ecclesiastes, where he literally talked about the different seasons, the season for everything under the sun, some people say. With that being said, we are going to start off with a particular scripture, and this is going to help you. I kept saying this last time, but I didn't give the name of it. It's Proverbs 23:7. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Let's just change that right there. In your spirit, as you feel in your spirit, that's why they said feeling is the secret. As you feel in your spirit, or thinkest, that's the mind. You literally are that. You ever heard of them say, think it till you make it? You know what I'm trying to say? Some people go get a corporate job and they see themselves really in a corporate job, but they are sitting maybe as a receptionist, and they said, no, I want to go in the boardroom, and they don't have, the male may not have the suit. He may wear that suit every day and just go buy him a different tie. Just that you don't know if he got the same, unless you really nosy and saying, is that the same suit? And he is trying to make it, fake it till he make it, and he's just dressing that way, just dressing that way, and whatever. Some people go to the thrift store. A lady may go to the thrift store. I remember it was times when I went to the thrift store and they had some nice stuff, because a lot of people go that donate their stuff to the thrift store, a lot of them are rich. And I would go in there and I found a whole bunch of skirts and I put that thing together. And you couldn't tell me that I was not a professional. I mean, hey, with that being said, the reason why I said that is because we are discussing you really can't manifest. We talked about you can have all the vision boards you want, affirmation you want, but you got to understand the seasons. And sometimes you have to know when it's time to leave that season. You can pray all you want to, but God is trying to tell you right now with this wisdom I'm giving you, you can be, for an example, in your apartment and you have a single apartment, you graduated from college, you literally sitting there, but you go get a job in corporate or you get you a good online job, an engineer, whether you're a female or male, and you can be a hairstylist, designer. And what happened is once you get that job, you'll start looking at that apartment a little bit different because it kind of reminds you of your dorm. And then you say, oh, I got to go. You may have roommates. You say, no, no, no. The seasons have changed. Now you're bringing in money and you want to go, and you don't want to go above your money, but you want to really go to a point where you are living in that promised land that is great for you. You don't want to go past the season because sometimes you go past the season, you become house poor. So it's a two-edged sword. So I just wanted to give you an example because that example is going to help you know, like the last podcast before this I had about being in a hallway. You can say the hallway is this season, how you don't live in a hallway. You got to go through that hallway. You got to get rid of your junk, close the door behind you, which is called the past. And then in the door in front of you is the future, was God, Jesus was on the cross. In the middle was represent the present. So you have to know present day where you at. Well, Miss P, I don't know nothing about people, being in out of season. How do we really know? Well, when you in season, you in the wrong season is when someone broke your heart. They broke your heart 2 years ago and you still talk about them. When you in the wrong season is when you turn around and you go into a relationship and you meet a nice guy and you still stuck on bad boy. You want bad boy Joe. You in the wrong season for so many things because even though the world give us winter, spring, summer, fall, when you in the wrong season, I already said, when summertime come and fall come, you need a jacket. We used to get windbreakers and stuff. We start out with a jacket and we go to heavy winter coats, the boots. You can't walk into the fall and the winter time unless you in a place who don't really go into those seasons. They maybe have two. And you walking around in a bikini. It sounds like, oh, that's funny. No, it's not really funny because I'm looking at the spiritual realm. What happens inside when you miss the season? I talked about you miss your seasons, and I talk about people come to your life for a divine reason. God send them to you. People, places, and things. But you have to understand some things do expire. Unfortunately, that's death. A lot of people do not want to let death go. I have that in my book. They don't want to let the person go, but the person let them go. And they like, no, it is people who, unfortunately, yes, death can come in many forms. And when it's an accident or tragic, especially when it's a child, it might be a pet or your mother, you won't forget those deaths. But at that point, they want you to go on and move on in your life, and you have to get to a point where a season, and that's why in Ecclesiastes, I don't have the scripture right in front of me. You literally, he says, a time to cry, a time to laugh. You understand? It's a time for different things. Those seasons that you see, a farmer goes by that. It's a season that you sow. And then during this season, you're going to be standing up there talking about, I'm just giving. You find yourself just giving. A counselor feel this way. Motivation speakers feel this way. You go into different places and you're just performing, or you're just giving your gift and just giving your gift and then giving you like, well, wait a minute. But you have to have that balance where it's the time that you sow, and then when you start reaping the harvest, which is seeing a manifestation, you want to sit back and you want to relax. You may want to travel. I feel it have to be a balance. Even in your day when you worked all day, you must have a balance where you know how to come and rest. Me personally, I love movies. What's your hobby? I know people that love to look at the do the crossword puzzles, and I do that once in a blue moon. I used to knit all the time. I don't do that. I need to pick that back up. I like games. I play with my daughter the board games. We did Monopoly. I know some of y'all gonna go and get it. Don't go get it because it's gonna be in your closet and carry dirt. It's what you like. I like checkers. People like chess. Something that's going to relax your mind and put it in a different state. Okay. The reason why I read the For As a Man Thinketh in His Heart, you carry that. We talked about leaving the past and going in the hallway, just like going into a season. You must go forth. Why? Listen, did you hear? If anybody know about the word, the Bible, anybody picked it up, go pick it up. If you know about Moses' journey, he kept saying, let my people go. This is what your past is saying. Let me go. Your old boyfriend, your old husband that abused you. If you a man, maybe you're the girl who took all your money, the woman who cheated on you with your best friend or brother. You got to let them go. You got to keep on moving. God made us to move. He didn't make us to stay in idle. The biggest trick of the enemy, and it's in Unwritten the Devil by Napoleon Hills. Oh my God, you got to get that. Literally, you sitting up there and the devil, the way he was speaking about it, he was having an interview and the enemy was like, he basically wants you to be an idol. If you go into look at poverty around the world, those people are in idol. No goal, no vision. My people will perish. Lack of knowledge. No vision. You no good. You can't see past your nose. You get poor and poor, especially during the pandemic. Nobody knew how to pivot. Things happen. Life happened. You can't control what the world is happening. Nobody can control the pandemic. A lot of church people lost everything because they didn't know how to pivot. People didn't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school. They got courses out there. I went to courses coming from New York City. It was so many trainings, trying to get comfortable here. I went to courses that was just 3 months. I went to a 3-week course. I think it was a bank teller course. I went to a 3-month course. I went to a 6-month course. Robert Fiance or whatever. I went to so many, anything they had, I went there. I got proof because my student loan says it. And then I went to college because at first I was like, everybody's not college material. And I tell my mentees or clients that where I help them in their career, you might not be no good to go and sit up in the classroom for a year, 2 years and get your degree. Some people can't do online. They can't learn. Doesn't make them dumb. Most millionaires are usually entrepreneurs. Or people who didn't even go to college, or they went to college and got it. Only take one invention. So with that being said, I do believe in education because that's what knowledge. My people with parents lack of knowledge. It's the reason why when you go to the ghetto, the people get poor and poor. They didn't stretch their mind. They didn't multiply. So their manifestation is they're going to weep and weep and weep and weep and weep. Poverty, ignorance. We talked about, I did a class on dealing with the talents that was in Matthews. And what happens if you need some information on that, you contact me. God gave each one of them a talent, but each one of them did something with the talent and collected interest, and then one hid it. And God was very disappointed in them, or somewhat angry, and told them that they was, good for nothing, really. And this is really a metaphor of the world, of what's going on today. Oh no, Miss P, God is not going to get mad at you and so and so and so and so. Okay, well, keep doing what you're doing. I hope you're happy. Because even as a parent, you will be very disappointed. It's going to be seasons that you're going to be disappointed in your child. As a couple, you'll be disappointed. Everybody going to have a disappointment. You don't have to go crazy, but you're going to be disappointed with some other people's choices. You don't think God say, hey, I got everything setting up here. Your promised land is in front of you and you refuse to go and enjoy it? Will you see people And this that have nothing to do with people that have that's on medication and have mental illness. But you see people who's on the street, they gave up somewhere and they got stuck. And I call it the hallway of life. They got stuck and that all they do is go from place to place and then they beg because they don't want a responsibility. They don't want to worry about life. They don't want to go, there's no future in their eyes. So they just sit there and wait till they expire. Some of y'all got kids sitting up in your house that's doing that. I have went through a lot with, I have an adult, by the time we get this, hopefully she have her own. A lot of people talk about you and why your child ain't out at 18. And you have to be careful who's the naysayers, because the naysayers will come and tell you why your daughter or son living with you, and they don't know what's going to happen where their child have to come back to them and live as an adult. You understand what I'm saying? With the pandemic, a lot of grown people had to go back home, especially if they had parents from the baby boomer who saved their money, had the house. People don't know what you're going through. A lot of people talk about you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. Let me tell you something. If somebody have to stay in your house, still make sure that your daughter and son is not in idle. Let them use their time to save up. Let them use their time to pay off their car, pay off things. Don't let them just sit there and say, well, I got a grown person here. It's people let their 40-year-old son come back and they just sitting up there eating up their food, doing their laundry, because really in reality, that's their man that they really never got. And that's why, mothers just love their sons and they want to give them everything. They want to do everything because they got that physical man sitting up there and they don't want them to go get nobody else. And that's why some of them say, why should I go and get married when my mother do everything for me? You have to allow them to go through their seasons. But it is the season that unfortunately things happen. I've been there where I fell into a mind of idleness and sickness, and my daughter was there to help pick me up. So that's in the hallway. When somebody come, God will bless you where maybe your child will help you. Maybe it's your family members or best friend. With that being said, you literally have to use that, but you can't just stay there. I can't sit here. I got my own business. I didn't sit and stay in idle and sickness. I had to get up and keep on moving. And so with that being said, we have goals and plans, but you have to know what season you in. With that man, it is the season that you have to say, okay, I done did everything and it's just not working between me and you. Especially if you have a goal and they are not goal driven. You got to be careful about that, because somebody going to pull somebody. And if that person is pulling you, eventually you're going to be what? You're going to be idle. That's why you have to be very, very, very careful who's your friend, your so-called friend. You should teach your child that, especially the teenagers. So with that being said, you understand that sometimes you got to say, let my people go. You need to tell that man, I let you go. That woman, I let you go. Or you will be cursed. And that might be in my title with this, because this is part 2. You understand? And I ended last time talking about cursed or blessed. Let's see what happens. How can you be cursed or blessed? It says you need to let them go. If they not in that season, the 3 seasons I have is the season, the reason, and lifetime. If they are not in a lifetime, and it's kind of hard to know if they there, but because people expire. But if they not what you would call my soulmate, everybody think this is their soulmate. Especially females, they think this is their soulmate. They met him 6 weeks, 2 weeks. Oh, this is definitely my soulmate. I know everything about him. I know, you don't know. But if everything is going in that direction and you feel good, that's great. Lifetime, you really don't know until you expire, until you get in there and you can say, this person been with me from day one. But you literally can be cursed in a season when you don't come out of that season properly. When you don't allow that person, if they have to leave, you have to let them leave. I'm not talking about death because it can be premature, and that's a whole nother podcast. And I do have one about death. But even then, you have to let go. It is people who once they lost their parent. That's why I said when you got grown-ups in your house, grown kids, you have to teach them to still be responsible and to operate. And they should take advantage of that point where you say save, 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 and you need to see documentation of things being paid off. Because what happens is if they stay in your house and be idle, when you pass and your time come, I've seen it, I witnessed it, I heard it, where the mother passed, the father passed, literally, and the child is standing up there looking at the world like, could you help me? This is serious. And they stuck in the season. Nobody told them how to go from season to season because their parents never told them. So you could be a grown person and you don't know. And unfortunately, even if you was a stay-at-home mom or dad, and the other person went out there and got their degrees and whatever, you have to be very careful because you have to kind of up to date, get your stuff together, make sure you got proper insurance that if something happened to them, you got to be prepared that if they go walk away, you getting something out of that. I'm not talking about leash on them, but I'm talking about when you have that mutual understanding that they going to medical school and you are not going to medical school, but you're going to be the expert, the technician for the house and the kids. You're gonna really groom those kids into the way they should go. God said, train them in the way of they're going. They'll never forget it. So with that, with knowing that wisdom, your cursed season, because you're not gonna let the person go. I don't want to let him go. I can't live without him or her. Then everything has gone wrong. This is why some of y'all have the messed up from the floor up relationship. Even family members. You may have a best cousin and then that cousin flip on you. You gotta go. It hurts, but you gotta go. You gotta let them go. And you don't keep knocking in their door. You don't go run around and become a stalker. This is when you know you're in a chaotic season, when you become the stalker. When you running around trying to figure out on Facebook, social media, I know what he's doing. He's with that person. I seen it. You know what? You need to leave that season alone. You're going to manifest chaos. People are like, I just don't understand why I'm manifesting this. You in the same season trying to dig up this person. Either you're trying to go to the graveyard, dig up somebody that you love, your loved one, and not let them be at peace in heaven. Instead of you just going on with your life and making them and saying, hey, I'm proud, and seeing a smile on their face in heaven. You try to go back to that graveyard and dig up the fossils and bones. The same way with a relationship, that relationship have ended. You don't want to go on with your life. You wasn't put here for that person. Who is that person? Gold? Are they giving you gold? Yes, it hurts. But what's hurting is because that spirit is saying, okay, now we got to detach ourselves. And that does hurt because it's just like a bone that you kind of like disjointed and the doctor have to put it in place. Oh, it hurts, but it need to go back into place. You need to go back into your season. In this season of being cursed, you will meet all the wrong people. Y'all think I'm playing? You ever turned around and you just came out of a hectic relationship and then you look up and you got another hectic relationship? You're like, what the blank is this? Same spirit, different face, different names. Hello? Now you know when you're in the wrong season. When you're on the job and everybody start turning against you, or you just so bored. I know people say, I just can't even go into I just don't feel like getting up and going to the job no more. Hello? Maybe God is telling you in the wrong season. It's time to take off your winter coat. Get what I'm saying? It's a metaphor. You got to know. How about the person that's coming in there? You need to learn from that reason. It's the reason that some people come. I discussed this before. I give you another analogy. It could be somebody that you online talking to, and you waiting for something in the store, and y'all just start talking, and they happen to tell you, oh, you start telling them, I am shopping around for a car, blah blah blah, and they say, well, you know what? I just got a car from this dealership over here, and let me give you the card. That particular reason, that was a season, but it was also a reason that person, you met that person. Divine connection. It can be a teacher that give you so much wisdom. That teacher, you ever had a professor that you just love the way they carried themselves, how they gave you the information so good that you just love that subject, just the way that they presented it. They came for a season and the reason, but that's going to help you because you can kind of like marry them. So they go together. The lifetime you don't really know, but you kind of can feel good if you're walking through the hallways and going through those doors I talked about in my other podcast about the past door and the future door, and you're with somebody and you're in a relationship and everything is beautiful. You're gonna have obstacles where you might have to go. The hallway may be a staircase or a windy road, but if that person's still with you, it's not one sided. You can't be going up the stairs in the hallway when the other person choose to walk. Do that make sense? How do you know when you bless? When you in the blessed season, everything is gonna go great. You're gonna see manifestation. It's just like a farmer. He might have lost some crop. He's gonna have those obstacles with the insects and all of that. He's gonna have some obstacles when it don't rain and they in the drought. These are little things in life you will have because life is full of everybody other people's thoughts. So if they are not thinking, like he said, in the Bible, it says, think on these things. These are all the good things you're supposed to think about. Is people that don't think about good things. They think about all kind of bad news. Some people live. I know people who you got to ask yourself: are you living a reality show? If you really are so into that reality show, that's all you look at, and then you talk about it and you talk about it over and over. I mean, I remember soap operas, and you get on that phone, girl, you know what Lily did to so and so, and you just get into the point that you heard, and you in front of the TV screaming, and then I have these same people come to me, and their whole life is jacked up, and I'm like, you live in a reality show. You manifesting what you spend most of your time putting into or feeding your senses, your ear gates, your eye gates. I'm not saying don't go watch reality shows and stuff like that, but you have to understand where is that your season to sit there and just watch? How much time do you need to spend talking about this particular show? How much time you need to get angry? You can watch it, you can digest it, you can look at it and say, okay, I got it. Remember, this is entertainment, but you don't get so deep into it because it will become a part of your life. So that's something that a whole new thing, reality shows. Some people, listen, I love mysteries. I love Columbo. I love all the detective shows. But it's times when, one day I was looking at a detective show for a while, and then I went to sleep and dreamed about it. I said, "Oh, wait a minute, I can't watch it." I had to take a rest for a couple of days because I was like, "No, these are murder mysteries." But yeah, it's that deep. But you have to be very careful before you go to bed what goes in your subconscious mind. If you angry at all the time of the last person how they hurt you, you literally are still in the hallway, and your whole season is cursed. Now let's go ahead and look at the blessed season. Everything is great. You have your obstacles. Like I said, you are really in your promised land. And this is when you meet divine people. They'll carry you out your wrong season. You start praying, you have that relationship with God. You may have all those coaches that I told you about. Well, Miss P, I can't afford a coach. All you got to do is go on YouTube and get the best person that have proven their mind, their task, have proven their career. You can go on there and get from them. It's free. Books are free. And if you can't afford a book for $10.99, wait a minute. Because I bet you can afford to go to the spa. So you got to be very careful with that. Spend your money because it is a season that you have to circulate your money to get knowledge, whether it's through podcasts, paying for a motivational speaker at a convention. It may be at your church, and those are free. When they have maybe revivals, I'm not talking about revivals where you want the revivals where they literally bringing in knowledge. And sometimes the revival is just strictly fasting and spiritual. That's fine too because you are feeding your spirit. So it's a lot of things that's free. Wikipedia is on there. Last time I looked, I always said the library is free. So don't say you don't have a coach. Sometimes the coach that you get is the person who wrote the book. So you don't have to have a physical being. You can look at YouTube videos. They call it YouTube University, but you have to know the difference when it's somebody who ain't did nothing, don't have nothing, don't want to be nothing. You got to know the difference. So you see, you can get a coach out there. And these people help you get into the next season. And people, mentors are there to help you. Coaches will help you to go through the season. It could be with health, okay? Body, mind, and soul. With that being said, you will also be led to the right places. Some people, you have that vision board for, I'm going to Fuji. Never made it. You had it there. It's like, and you never know where, if you in that right season where you at peace. First of all, the biggest thing that you in there is the peace. Even when obstacles come your way, you would be able to change the obstacles into opportunities. And I have that in one of the podcasts. But you will be in peace with your decisions. Yes. You ever see that person that just looks like every time you turn around, you have that friend that they always, everything going right. They can get a lottery and hit $1 and you can get 10 and don't hit nothing. And it's where their mind is that. Remember Proverbs 23:7, for as a man thinketh, so is he. Do you understand? Once you change your state of mind, once you revise and that's when I'm here, revise your painful past. You revise it because you closing the door and you going moving forward. You will be in a blessed season. Even if you go into the winter time and nothing is moving, you're not, some people think they're cursed. No, you are in the winter time where this is the time for you to just go ahead and you had saved everything. And then it is probably sometime in the wintertime you need to rest because you did everything in the summer, in the spring, or is that the fall? So you also will be led to the right place, and that is that Fuji trip where you may be on the line talking to somebody. You may be talking to somebody and ask them a question at a call center, your utility. And the person may say to you, "Oh, how's everything going?" While they're looking at your account, and you just turn around and say, "Oh, it's fine, but I definitely need a vacation." And they say, "Oh, honey, I took a vacation last week," and you be like, "Where?" "I went to Fuji." And you say, "Oh my goodness, I've been dreaming that for so long." And they can say, "Oh, wait a minute, I see you live in so and so and so." And they could just say, "Why don't you go to this website?" Yeah, they can do that. They're not gonna come fire them. You probably say, "I used to be in customer service." Now they ain't gonna fire them because you are literally having a conversation with them, and they not gonna forget you. You know what I'm saying? You are establishing a relationship for them to come into that company and use that company because it's like, "Well, I love talking to so and so," and that little divine connection got you to somebody helping you or showing you a direction point, and they assign. They can just be the sign thing. Sometimes relationship, a lot of people meet people and they it's their best friend and they say, "Oh, I just miss their best friend," whatever. But that particular person really was in your life to invite you to a convention where you are going to go to that convention to meet your life mate. So you have to embrace the two swords. And once you embrace it, once you know how to get, where you at, if in the hallway, the seasons, then you're walking in blessings. And that is all called divine connection. That's what God sends you. Do you know what season you in? If you don't, you need to contact me. I just went over this. I just went over it. Contact me so I can show you the right season. And you know what I didn't do is I forgot. Sometimes I forget, but I have different quotes, not only from those powerful speakers, motivation speakers, powerful preachers, and powerful mystics. This one right here I'm going to read is actually by me. Idleness is a deadly screenshot. Action is power. That's what this whole thing was about, power within yourself. That God said, "I give you the power." And Wallace D. Waddle, his quote is, "By thought, the things you want is brought to you. By action, you receive it. So see, you can think about it, but if you don't put no action, it ain't gonna happen. And that's why that still go back to the manuscript, the Bible I talk about, that's dusty right now in your living room. In there is all the things you need to know about life. And this goes with every quote that's out there. They get it from probably the Bible. And what it is he said, faith without action is nothing. You can hoop, holler, sing all you want, walk around the church, run around the church. You can do anything you say. You can say all the Lord prayers. You can do anything. You can carry the biggest Bible. But if you don't have no action behind that faith, you're just going to be a person who is an idol. You're going to be living the season that's going to be cursed to curse to curse. You ever see people say when it rain and pour? Yeah, you might be in the wrong season. But Miss P, things happen, and even if you're in the right season, I said, yeah, but that's when you know how to go. You jump over those obstacles and turn it into pull it back out your bag and make it a opportunity. With that being said, I thank you so much for coming into my space. I don't have no words to say because I went way longer. So I'm going to end this and just say, bless somebody with my book today. And I have a couple books. I have a lot of books out. Bless them with it, okay? And what's new? All my books, all my t-shirts, my podcast is new. Share it with somebody. And that's going to be a blessing to you. Remember, if loving yourself is right, you don't want to be wrong.